Welcome everyone. My name is Tyler, and you might be seeing this on You Got This with Tyler, or you might be seeing this on Chaplain Tyler Online. Either which way, welcome. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the golden rule versus the platinum rule. What does it mean? How does it work? What are the ramifications of that? And kind of ways that we can use the two rules to guide our lives and the way that we help and work with people. So first of all, what is gold versus what is platinum? Well, gold is a precious metal, as most of us know. Our currency, all of our money is based on the gold standard, and it has been a precious metal for a very, very long time. Platinum, on the other hand, is kind of a silvery color, not quite the same, obviously. It has a lot of properties that are similar to gold, but it is much, much more difficult to mine. Apparently, we can get about 5 times as much gold as we can platinum. So, because of the scarcity, platinum is more valuable. There just is, it's just impossible to try to get more platinum. So, that's what it means. Now, in our society recognizes platinum as being more valuable through a couple of different things. So, if we say that, let's say the two people have been married for a very long time. Well, the longer they go in their marriage, the more valuable the anniversary is. So, for example, after 25 years, that is called the silver anniversary. That's a precious thing, but it's not as precious as, let's say, the 50 years. At 50 years, the couple gets to a place called the golden anniversary. And that's very, very rare. But even more rare than that is the platinum anniversary. The platinum anniversary is 70 years. And that is a very long time. In the music industry, if an album goes gold, it means that it has sold 500,000 copies. That's a lot of copies. But if it sells 1 million individual copies, well, that means it's gone platinum. So you can see that even in our society, platinum is seen as a lot more valuable than gold. And I would argue that the platinum rule is more valuable than the golden rule, but we'll get there in a second. So what is the golden rule? The golden rule is stated like this: do unto others as you would have done unto you. It's a way for us to have a guiding principle on how we want to treat others and how we want others to treat us. It's based on reciprocity. If I treat you this way, I'm expecting you to treat me back this way. And there's some good in that. But I've always felt it was limited. I had heard about the golden rule, lived the golden rule, but as a chaplain starting out 24, 25 years ago, I thought, something's not quite right about this. And as I thought about it, I thought, well, who is the center at the golden rule? Who is the golden rule really about? The golden rule is really about me. It's about me. It's about the person who's giving the behavior because they're expecting something back. And it never sat well with me. And what I started to realize was that the golden rule is a self-centered rule. It's about me. It's about who I am, and what I want others to do and how I treat others. I treat others the way that I want to be treated. So that makes it about me. Well, I started looking around and I came across something called the platinum rule. And the platinum rule says, do unto others as they want done unto them. As they want done. And it kind of stopped me in my tracks, and I thought, wait a second, it isn't about me. It's about them. It's about how I can help them for their sake. Okay. It got me thinking. And it really did affect the way that I did my chaplaincy. And I'll give you a couple of examples, and then we'll talk about a few consequences of this. There was a gentleman who, I was working in a trauma hospital, and there was a gentleman whose wife was very, very ill, and who I had tried to offer some support for quite a while. To no avail. Every time I tried to talk with him about what the situation was and what was happening and how we could work with it and that kind of thing, it just never went anywhere. And he kind of didn't really shut me down, but he certainly made me know that I wasn't welcome. Well, I thought at the time that was a rejection of me. It wasn't. It was a rejection of the way I was trying to work with him and help him. That was the rejection, and rightfully so. So one evening, I'm in the hospital, and I go to the unit where his wife was, and I see him outside the unit in the lounge, watching a TV, and on the TV was a hockey game. And so I stopped and talked just briefly with him, and had never really had any connection with him. It just had always been shut down. And so for me, the fact that I was able to talk to them about the hockey game was very much a step in the right direction. So I stayed, I talked. We talked about all sorts of things, what was happening with the team, what was happening in the season, what was going on, what about the goaltending, what about the scoring, what about the possibility of a playoff run, what are we seeing, what's happening with the coach, those kinds of things. And I stayed there about 15-20 minutes, had a good talk with him. And then as I got up to leave, he said to me, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to me about all this stuff. It's exactly what I needed and helped me a lot to just sit and be. Thank you. And he was letting me know that the approach that I took this time, just coming to be with him, is what he needed. He didn't need to talk about everything going on. That was already on his mind. There was already, there was no point in talking to him about it because he knew it. He was already in the midst of it. What he needed was somebody to talk with him about other things. And that lesson really stayed with me a long time. Another example where that lesson came into play was I was called, in that same hospital, I was called to come and offer support to a young 19-year-old young man who had just been given you have 2 weeks to live. The young man had cystic fibrosis, and which is a horrible disease. And he had told the nursing staff that, okay. His response was very different than what the nursing staff thought it should be. And so the nursing staff called me, even though it wasn't my unit, they called me because I was the youngest chaplain there by far. And they thought that I would have a better chance of being able to really see and work with him and get to the truth. And so I did. And I came up and talked with him, and it turns out that he was absolutely ready to die. He had been facing the end of his own life for many years, had been expecting this for many years, and was able to he was not concerned with the end of his own life. What he needed, what he told me he needed, and what he really did need, was somebody who could just talk with him, laugh about things, joke around, and help him stay calm in the midst of everything, because he could never do that with his family. His family were grieving terribly. The nursing staff, they had known him his whole life because the children's hospital was also part of this hospital. And so they knew him. And they were grieving, and they were not ready for his death. but he was. He was totally ready. And so that's what I did for 3 weeks. He lived for 3 more weeks, not just the 2. And I was able to be with him and laugh and talk, and we played games and whatever he needed, just so that he could be that kind of support and talk with and help his family know that he was okay. That's the support he needed. And it worked out really, really well. And that's the difference between the golden rule and the platinum rule. If I had come to that young man using the golden rule, thinking, hey, I need to work with him the way that I would need to be worked with, I would have missed his situation and who he was completely. And that same principle has borne out and played out in so many different situations. Whether it is a parent whose young baby just died, or whether it is a person who's struggling with a stroke, family members who are not sure of how things are going to go and what the consequences are going to be. It never really is about me. It's about them. Some people have said to me, well, how do you build empathy? And I've been thinking about that. And one of the ways you can build empathy is by starting with the golden rule and moving to the platinum rule. Empathy is where we can put ourselves in the shoes of another person and understand and be able to empathize, not just sympathize, but to empathize with them, to feel what they feel or they would feel, and to be able to help express and do what is necessary to help and support them. That is hard to do. If we stay with the golden rule, then we are not going to be able to empathize with a whole lot of people. It just isn't going to happen. We can empathize with people in the way, with people who think and have the same value systems as we do, but that's about it. Whereas if we come to somebody with the platinum rule and we listen first to what it is that they need, that they are experiencing, that they are going through, and then we listen and ask questions to understand them, that's the application of the platinum rule. For nursing staff, as I've been in the hospital, nursing staff are, most of the time, they are fantastic at being able to empathize with others. And there are times when they are too tired or burned out, and I don't blame them. They have one of the most difficult jobs in the world. And as we're trying to move towards living lives for other people, if we can use the golden rule when needed to have it as a starting place, and then move to the platinum rule, where we're able to really look at and understand and work for others for the sake of others, what a difference that would make in this world. Not just for nursing staff, not just for counselors, but what about in relationships? What if we really, really lived that platinum rule? Religions across the world for decades, for generations, have been struggling to try to help people understand how to live a more selfless life. It's part of what we grow into. It's part of how we mature as emotionally and spiritually as people. Well, if we start with the golden rule, and then we move on to the more valuable platinum rule, I think that's going to go a long way. I think that's going to go a long way, a really long way. I want to talk real quickly about a particular Bible verse that when I was growing up was used in a specific way, and I always had trouble with it. The verse is Proverbs 22:6, and it says, "Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it." So, what a lot of well-meaning parents have done is that they have looked at and put the emphasis on the train up the child in the way they should go. So the parents have said, well, I know the way that they should go, and I want my kid to have more power, prestige, money than I ever had. So they're going to be a doctor or a lawyer if it kills me. and so that's application of the golden rule. The platinum rule says train up a child in the way they should go. It's not about the parents. It's about the child. What if that child, who the parent wants so desperately to be a doctor or a lawyer or a high-powered businessman or something, what if that child doesn't have the particular characteristics that work for that? What is the parent doing? They're putting that child into a place of absolute abject frustration where they will never be able to measure up to the expectation of the parents. What if the child's giftings are in other areas, like music or sports or drama or counseling or something? What are the parents doing then? As parents, are we able to work with that? As leaders, are we able to draw forth the gifts and the talents and the character of our employees, of the people who work with us? Are we there for their sake, living the platinum rule as opposed to living the golden rule? Are we there for the other person's sake? In the 24 whatever years it's been, 25 years that it's been since I found the platinum rule, I've looked online at the development of and integration of the platinum rule in different circles. And it's only fairly recently that I see that business leaders are starting to understand that role. They're starting to understand that the platinum rule is one that they have to do for the sake of their employees. How do we build up leaders? Leaders they don't just happen. They have to be mentored. They have to be shown. They have to be coached. They have to be free to fail. All of our employees have that same needs. They have to be brought forth into life, whatever that is, for them. It's about them. So I give this to you to think about. The golden rule ultimately is about who? Me. If I'm using the golden rule, it's about me. That says that I value me more than I value the other person. That's what it says. I don't want that to be my defining characteristic. I want to live the platinum rule. I want to live where I do unto others as they want done. I want to listen. I want to seek them. I want to understand them. I want to connect with them for their sake. If this resonates at all with you, be blessed. If you don't understand, and if this doesn't make sense, that's okay. Maybe it's not time yet. Think about it. Try a few exercises. Try listening to somebody without any intention of replying. Try listening to somebody and ask questions only to understand them. Just those two things starts you on the path of the golden rule. That's all it takes. Remember, it's about them. It's not about you. So, this day, be blessed. This week to come, be blessed. Thank you for sharing this time with me. And in the next series of videos, the next video I'm going to do is going to be one called God Raise My Bottom. And then I'm going to be talking about values. Because values are at the core of who we are as people. And there's different types of values, and I think that if we understood what drives us, what are our motivating factors, and who we are as people, I think that would make a huge difference as we move forward in this life. And it would make a huge difference as we are in relationship with others. If we understood how our coworker, what means something to our coworkers, wow. They would feel heard, they would feel respected, and they would feel like you cared. And that's pretty powerful. So that's what we're going to work on the next few weeks here. Again, this is Chaplain Tyler. You'll be watching this on Chaplain Tyler Online, or you'll be watching this on You Got This with Tyler. And please like, subscribe, and share these videos whenever you can, and to whoever you feel would need to hear this. Okay? Thank you so much, or want to hear this. You take care. Be blessed this day.